Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Astera Labs. It is time for another update, and this has been a request from a couple of viewers, so I wanted to let you know that anyone can make these requests, and I try to cover as many as possible. Although with the current demand there is a hard limitation on actually achieving this. Now on this chart we have been tracking this as an initial wave 1 up, and we had a wave 2 correction, and we have been looking for the third wave to the upside. Within this wave 3, we would have ideally liked to track a potential impulse, and we were tracking a potential series of 1-2 setups within this area. Yeah, something like this, possibly even a single 1-2 setup. Didn't really matter as long as we would have held the area of support after the wave 3 topped in a wave 4 correction. That has ended at the $149 level. So initially we actually had a beautiful attempt after this 3-wave correction to get the reversal to the upside in the next 5th wave, but unfortunately it has failed. And ever since actually breaking this area of support, we started looking for a pattern that would have been much more difficult to trust and track. Within this expectation, we had an ABC structure to unfold, and we had the area of support within the $136.2 all the way down to the $68 level for continuation to higher prices. We had already built an initial ABC structure to the downside that could have easily been considered a bottom in place for this wave B and to have started the wave C to the upside, now tracking a large leading diagonal instead of an impulse. We have even pushed very beautifully into our area of support before creating a reaction to the upside. But unfortunately, within this reaction to the upside, we had only a corrective pattern occur, and we even had a couple of ideas of how we could have seen an extension form to the downside. We had some levels of resistance we wanted to see broken. Here, more specifically, we had the yellow interpretation that would have allowed even a larger ABC structure to unfold within this area in a more direct fashion. That could technically still work out. We could still be tracking this as a 1-2 setup and to have a third wave unfolding within this area. But I have to say, I might prefer even the other structure we were tracking as even more favorable, and that is probably mostly due to the proportions we have within this correction, and additionally that even if we didn't invalidate this possibility of a 1-2 setup, we didn't break above the beginning of this wave 1. We did break, however, the area of resistance for such an expectation. So right now I would be much more inclined to believe that we are building something along the lines of this orange interpretation, and that this yellow structure can actually even go away for the most part. And instead it seems that we are building an A, B, C pattern that we would expect to take us to even lower prices. So for this interpretation, we had the $226.8 level as the last level of resistance, before we would have been able to look more reliably for continuation in the next wave to the upside. We had some very relevant structural resistance levels at the 61.8% retracement here, these swing highs, and the 78.6% retracement here, these next swing high levels that we would have needed to break for a more substantial signal that the bottom would indeed be in place. Now we are looking for the next wave to the downside to unfold. I believe we are looking still for some additional extensions even to lower prices, but before we get into the smaller time frame structure and the ideal target for this extension of the wave C in orange, I wanted to briefly mention our channel newsletter. The link for sign up is in the description. You will get access to our monthly top picks, and it is completely free. Now, if you do enjoy the content and you want to support the channel, you can check out our channel membership. You can find the link for that in the description as well, or you can click the join button. There is even a video on the homepage as well, or in the join section, where you can actually learn more about the newsletter and the membership and everything you get access to, everything that you can expect from this channel now and our plans for the near future. And if you join the membership, you will also get access to additional content, exclusive members content, in addition to some other cool perks. Now, back to the chart. Here we have been tracking this wave C in orange, and now that we have a wave B top, I can even provide you an ideal target for this supposed wave C. That would be at the 100% extension of the wave A around the $96 level. Keep in mind, however, this is an ideal target and we don't need to get there, but at the same time, we really don't need to stop there. Now, based on the structure within the wave A, we actually don't get many hints. We can track this both as a leading diagonal and an ABC structure, so it's not really telling us if we are certainly going to build a wave C. If we had formed a more clearly defined 5-wave pattern to the downside, I would have been able to provide much more confidence in only expecting to build here this internal 5-wave structure before looking for a more substantial bottom, but with the current developments I cannot rule out the possibility of a larger WXY structure, in which case, once we complete this wave to the downside, we might still be looking for a wave B retracement and a wave C to even lower prices. Now, nonetheless, in either case, I would have been looking for such a potential area of resistance, even for an extension of the wave C in a 1-2 setup, but currently we will have to be a little bit more patient and take it level by level. Now, in this extension to the downside, we can notice we have pushed so far perfectly into the 61.8% extension, and keep in mind, within this wave C, we are looking to complete a 5-wave move to the downside. The wave C is always a 5-wave pattern, and in this case, I would track here a tiny 1-2 setup, a 3rd wave down, 4th wave up, and a 5th wave to complete this structure. Within this expectation, I would consider and I would prefer that this 3rd wave actually extends a little bit longer, and within this structure I am at the moment tracking the idea of an impulse to take place within this area. In this expectation, within the wave 3, I have a wave 1 in place, a wave 2 up, 3rd wave down, 4th wave up, and a 5th wave that I would expect to still be ongoing. Within this 5th wave expectation, I would be looking for even a potential impulse, to be honest, but at least a 5-wave move to the downside within the structure of an ending diagonal. And in this interpretation, I have to say, this 5th wave might see strong extensions before we see a more substantial bottom, because whether it is an impulse, and I have here a double 1-2-1-2 setup, I would have this as a 3rd wave down, 4th wave up, and the 5th wave, but then I would still need a 4th and a 5th to complete the 5th wave itself. Then, if it is an ending diagonal, I might be looking at a 1-2, a 3rd wave that would still be ongoing, since I kind of have to count this as a 5-wave pattern in this area. And then in this structure, I would expect in this wave 3, a 3-wave pattern. I would be looking for an ABC pattern to unfold and take us to even lower prices. So, in this case, I would then still expect a 4th and a 5th, and I have to say, I cannot be looking for something potentially more bullish and a bottom within this wave 3 in orange until we break the $142.6 level. For me, that is the level that if broken, we can look potentially for a bottom in this wave 3 in orange, and actually I might even track this within a different color, but even if we break this area of resistance, I would still expect another low to form within this structure before looking for a more substantial bottom, because there is even more than one ways to count this pattern to the downside, and I would still be looking for the broader area of resistance for a wave 4 at the levels between the $135.5 all the way up to the $151.5. In the end, if we manage to break even this level of resistance, we can consider something potentially more bullish to be going on, but at the moment this doesn't seem like the most likely outcome, yeah? We have just had a massive drop and it doesn't seem like it is creating the most reliable pattern in this tiny reversal to the upside. It looks more like a relief rally, at least at the moment. Now, nonetheless, we might even be able to track here an initial 5-wave move to the upside within this area if we can even consider this to be a 5th wave. Yeah, to be honest, it's really not reliable. I would much rather consider that we are probably going to see this as an ABC structure that has unfolded and that we would be looking for an extension to even lower prices. I wouldn't be surprised if we already had a top in place within this structure within one pattern or the other. Really, it doesn't matter which count. I could also be looking for the 50% retracement for the idea of an impulse to be going on within this 5th wave. We would be looking at the $135 level as the last level of resistance for that idea. But right now, I cannot rule out this extension potentially within the blue structure to even lower prices. And I would suggest not to focus too much on a specific count, but to be prepared for extensions to the downside, because this structure does seem to favor additional extensions in this area. It does seem incomplete, and for now, I would be looking for continuation lower still. Now, it so happens that we don't really have much structural support within this area. We can consider this swing low to provide a little bit of support at the $116 level, but above the area between the $90 down to the $85, nothing substantial is really present that would allow us to look for a slowdown, a help in forming a more substantial bottom sooner rather than later. Although, don't take this as a sign that it will certainly not happen. Don't take this as a sign that we will end up in that area. Remember, the ideal target for the wave C is at the $96 level. We don't need to push that low. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what else you want me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I hope you have a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.